A lot of people, when they look at Prodigy's death, right, there's a lot of conspiracy theories. Yeah, that floats around that death. People actually say that it was an eggshell. I rather had been an ally more than an enemy. You know what I mean? But can I keep it real with you and say what was it? Poking at him because I felt he was poking at him. I felt like P was poking at him. He was poking at him. But you know what I'm saying? That was P. There's a group that was formed like in the 1700s, something like that, 1600s. This dude named Adam Weishaupt, he started this group of people, like powerful, rich people, that basically could shape popular opinion and the way you know the world is going to move forward. He then mysteriously choked on an egg. Maybe the first person in human history to have choked on an egg in some capacity, after speaking out about the Illuminati. So N.O.R.E and Havoc just sat down and brought up something people still haven't fully processed: Prodigy's strange death and the secrets he was trying to expose. As some of you might know, Prodigy spent the last years of his life calling out the Illuminati, secret societies, corrupt systems, and the ways hip-hop was being used to push deeper agendas. He talked about it in interviews, in his book, and in private notes he kept until the very end. But then, just like that, he dies in a hospital supposedly from choking on an egg. Now, that's the official story. But if you've been paying attention, you know nothing about that feels right. Especially when you realize Prodigy was working on a musical about the Illuminati at the time of his death, while also keeping a diary and naming names he was planning to expose. So now with this new conversation between N.O.R.E and Havoc, people are picking up on what they don't say just as much as what they do. It sounds like they're both scared to talk about certain things, and there's a sense that they know more but aren't about to risk saying it in front of a camera. So let's break it all down. What Prodigy was exposing, what he wrote in the last diary entry, and what or who N.O.R.E and Havoc are scared of. The word means like the illuminated ones. Light is like information, you know what I mean? Like, oh, you see the light now? I found out the origin of the information that they were teaching. A clip from Havoc's interview on Drink Champs just resurfaced and it's got people talking again. So N.O.R.E brought up the rumors about Prodigy's death and asked Havoc how he felt about the rumors that Prodigy didn't actually choke on an egg and that there was foul play involved. But the way N.O.R.E worded the question, you can tell he was nervous and careful with his words. And Havoc's response was even more telling. He kind of changed the subject, and when N.O.R.E brought up the whole Illuminati thing, Havoc started acting clueless. Now, I'm sorry to start with you as such a harsh question, but a lot of people, when they look at Prodigy's death, right, there's a lot of conspiracy theories. Yeah, that floats around that death. People actually say that it was an eggshell. Obviously, when I want to interview anybody, I Google everything and people are saying, and then there's this video and you tell me if this is real or not. I don't know. A prodigy. And like Illuminati, a guy running up on Illuminati and said, you better not put out this video. You know, somebody was ran up on him. Yeah. And the people had a mask on. Did you ever see this video? Nah, it was a real video. I don't know if it's a real video on him. Yeah, they ran up on him and they was like, you know, you better not put this video out, whatever video that it is. Havoc then told N.O.R.E he's 50-50 when it comes to all the speculation around Prodigy's death, but he also said that the whole subject should be left for private conversation, and he refused to discuss it further. Foxy or Kim? I wouldn't say. Kim just do just like that, but I worked with Foxy before. You know what I'm saying? And you work with Kim too. And you got bigger choice with Kim. Talk about it. Yeah, Kim, let me say you see why it's a good question. This has got me in trouble or I'm going to be good. You mean rapid wash? I don't care. Anything. Whatever your criteria is. I'm just going to say Kim. Oh, you're saying kiss. No. I'm going to say both. Oh, so you gotta take a shot. Not take a shot. Not of that water though, sir. No, this is he. All right, cool. Where's my... All right, cool. Can we get a Japanese whiskey? Wait, why? We're taking a shot. You have to take a shot. You said both. What does that mean? We all guilty. And that moment right there is what's got people digging again. Because when two industry vets who were that close to Prodigy are this nervous to talk about the most suspicious part of his death, then you know they know. So, let's first talk about what Prodigy was trying to expose before his mysterious death. Prodigy was really the one who got people in hip-hop taking the Illuminati seriously, and this wasn't some trend he jumped on. He had been speaking on it for years, going all the way back to the 90s. His first real mention of it was in 1995 on the Asha remix with LL Cool J, where he rapped Illuminati want my mind, soul, and my body, secret society, trying to keep their eye on me, but I'm going say incog and strategically. The God, it's sort of similar, but iller than a chess player. I use my thinker, it coincides with my blinker. That alone kicked off decades of speculation, and Prodigy never really backed down from it. Then in 2008, he doubled down with the track, Illuminati, where he didn't just hint at it. He called it out directly, spitting, "This is not a theory. The conspiracy is real. They want to put me in a straitjacket in a padded room and tell the world there's 12 monkeys so they can be confused." But Prodigy didn't let up on the Illuminati talk. He kept that same energy all the way through to his final album, Hegelian Dialectic, The Book of Revelation, which dropped on January 20th, 2017, exactly 5 months before he died. On that project, he was still diving deep into theories about secret societies, control systems, and how the world's being manipulated from the shadows. And by this point, Prodigy had stopped talking in code, and he started directly calling out secret government operations, like what they're doing to the kids with the immunization shots. They have major programs, immunization programs, where they're poisoning us, you know. They infecting us with stuff on purpose, and it's called population control. They have these programs they do in Africa. They immunize the whole village. They give them shots, and it's poison. They're killing them. They're giving them disease. They're filling them up with mercury. Okay, immunizations. What else? There's a whole bunch of other, freedom fighters and just people that's, putting the truth out there to the world. And the FBI and the CIA have these covert operations where they stop them, they kill them, they assassinate them, or they assassinate their character. But here's where things get even crazier. Prodigy also started calling out people in the music industry who he believed knew the real truth, but made a deal to stay silent just so they could have some money and power. And one person that Prodigy pointed his finger at was Jay-Z. So Prodigy wrote this letter when he was serving time, and he talked about the moment of awakening when he realized that the whole system is a sham. Prodigy wrote, "The government, religious politics, the Federal Reserve, IRS, and everything we believe and live by is a joke." And then Prodigy called out Jay-Z, claiming that Jay is one of the few people who knows what's really going on, but he made a pact with the Illuminati to never speak on it. Jay-Z knows the truth, but he chose sides with evil in order to be accepted in the corporate. Prodigy wrote, "Jay-Z conceals the truth from the black community and the world and promotes the lifestyle of the beast instead." And get this, Prodigy said he would continue to relentlessly attack Jay-Z, Illuminati, and every other evil that exists until his lights are put out. "I fear nothing and no one." Prodigy said, "I'm fearless because the truth has set me free from the Illuminati mental enslavement, and I have been empowered by God and universe." So with everything Prodigy was exposing, a lot of people started to question if his death was really just some tragic accident. So here's the thing. Prodigy had been battling sickle cell his whole life, and when he passed in the hospital on June 20th, 2017, most people figured it was related to that. But then the coroner's report came out and sickle cell had nothing to do with it. According to the official report, Prodigy died after accidentally choking on a boiled egg. And of course, most Prodigy fans never really bought the official story. And to this day, they still believe he was silenced for getting too close to the truth. But it's not just fans. Some of Prodigy's peers have also publicly questioned the story around his death. Most recently, Kanye brought it up during an interview with Candace Owens. But the clip didn't last long. YouTube pulled the video and suspended Candace's channel for a week. And now, I talked to N.O.R.E this morning. He was like, "Okay, I realize this. I realize that I really don't feel Prodigy died from choking on an egg." But it gets darker later on. Candace spoke about what Kanye said on her show and even pulled up an old Prodigy interview with Alex Jones, where he talked about some disturbing rituals that supposedly happen in elite circles that people don't believe that Prodigy choked on an egg. And I had no idea what he was referring to. And I just wanted to let you guys know that there was a rapper named Prodigy who began speaking out about the Illuminati. He basically said, "I have this platform, and I want to use my platform for good, to wake up the masses to what's really going on in society. And so I am going to dig up this old clip of Prodigy right before he mysteriously choked on an egg, and he decided to speak with Alex Jones. Take a listen to what Prodigy had to say. Yeah, they doing all this ritualistic murder and rituals on little, you know, they molesting little kids, doing satanic sexuals. Like, this stuff is really going on in this world. Like on 9/11, you know what I mean? What they did was they 20 birds with one stone. You know what I'm saying? That's how I like to say it. You know what I mean? Because they changed all kinds of laws. They changed all kinds of they changed people's mentality, the way they look at the world. They pulled off one of the biggest ritualistic, you know what I mean? That ever happened, you know what I mean? Live for the whole world to see. So there you have it. That is Prodigy. And like I said, he then mysteriously choked on an egg. Maybe the first person in human history to have choked on an egg in some capacity after speaking out about the Illuminati. And if you dig through Prodigy's old tweets, he was constantly posting links to articles and resources for people to look into on their own. One example, back in 2014, he shared this article about the UN warning the UK over alleged voodoo rituals and PDF file tourists. Prodigy wrote in the caption, "I told y'all memphers, they doing X rituals on kids. Dumb people need to wake the F up." So, you see, Prodigy wasn't messing around with the Illuminati talk. This wasn't your typical sell your soul for the record, deal surface level stuff. He was digging deep and trying to warn us about some seriously dark things. He was convinced that the people running the whole system aren't just puppet masters of the music industry, but the ones orchestrating global control through rituals, manipulation, and psychological warfare. But let me hear your thoughts on all this. Did Prodigy know too much? And is his death tied to those Illuminati claims? And what about N.O.R.E and Havoc? Do you think they know more than they're letting on? Leave your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.